Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone as we turn to football. After securing their first win at FIFA Women's World Cup by beating Panama 1-0 on Saturday, the Reggae Girlz will look to write history once more by qualifying for the knockout stage for the first time ever. However, to do so, they need at least a point against Brazil to advance from Group F. Let's have a look at the table. Okay, so France at the top of the table. They've played 2 matches, they've won 1, they drew 1 of their matches, and a total of 4 points. Jamaica, same as France, they have a total of 4 points. Brazil in 3rd spot, they have 3 points. And Panama, having played 2 matches, they are yet to get a win or a draw, so they sit at the bottom of the table on 0 points. All right, we're here to discuss the team's exploits is former head coach Charles Edwards. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me on the program.
You're welcome, and I'm happy that you're here to talk about some good news. We're not discussing any negative news surrounding the Jamaica Reggae Girlz. They've had a good campaign so far, in my estimation. What did you make of the Girls World Cup campaign?
I think that's easy to say because first win, and in a position to go to the round of 16. Excellent. The campaign has been great. My only problem is we don't want any negatives, as you said, but we need to put the celebration aside quickly.
Yes.
And start to look at Brazil. It's not going to be an easy game, but we can do it.
Yeah,
but mentally we have to be ready for it.
Right. And based on what we've seen against France and Panama, I think it's okay for people to feel really confident. I want to zone in on the Panama match in particular and what you saw from the ladies that, gave us that sort of confidence.
I saw more points of attack because the first game against France, our point of attack was Khadija Bonishaw, full stop. Everything was channeled through her. In the Panama game, they were forced to find different points of attack, which we did. We have goal scorers, we have attacking players who can play, but it just seems as if when Bonishaw is on the pitch, whether it's the coach's instruction, which I doubt it is, or the intimidation of the other players, they just channel everything through her. And I know as a coach that sometimes that's not the game plan, but when you go on the pitch and the pressure reaches you, that's what happens. So in the Panama game, I was happy to see what happened. Now, in the Brazil game, I'd love to see some of that from Panama. We put more passes together. We got more attacking touches going forward, and we defended very well because Panama did play a decent game, but they just weren't fast enough, against our backline. So let's hope we can emulate some of that against Brazil and a little bit more.
Yeah, you speak about points of attack, different goal scorers. We had the opportunity to see Alison Swaby score that goal for her country, and we just have to remember she had stepped in as captain with Khadija Bonishaw being out. What did you make of that player and, her potential?
I think she was a true leader in the Panama game. I think from the defensive line, if you were watching the game keenly, you'd have seen her pushing the players. Sometimes you could have seen the emotion just pumping in her, talking to the players, pushing them. And I thought it was very fitting of her to have gone forward and scored that goal. That was very fitting of her performance. And I'm very happy for her because apart from Bonishaw now, we have another player who has scored, who's supposed to be on cloud 9 and will definitely play an important role in the game going against Brazil, rather. And then you have Solange, who has also scored in the last World Cup. So we have a couple of players to look forward to who can pretty much take the charge and lead us forward.
Yeah. Charles Edwards, you have coached with tremendous success in this country, in the women's game. I want to get your assessment of the technical ability of these Reggae Girlz, especially in comparison to what you see from the other teams at this World Cup.
Individually, our technical ability is on par with a lot of the other teams. Somehow, though, the team is not cohesively knocking or putting passes together the way I would have liked it. I'm a touch football coach. I love to see a team that can pretty much string passes together, control the game, move their points of attack, because the faster you move your point of attack, is the more problems you create for the opposition.
Yes.
Because they have to now shift their defensive point constantly to keep up with you. So you shift it quickly to create that breakdown, to find a corridor you can exploit and go at them. So when you're not doing that and you have just that one point, it's easy for them to shut you down. So I'd love to see more of us moving the ball around. What was exciting for me in the Panama game is the fact that we played more passes, moving back and forth, lateral and forward, everything. That was a good sign for me, and let's hope that we can carry it forward. But in terms of your question, the technical and tactical ability is on par with a lot of the other teams. And I'd love to say the entire World Cup, we have seen a big jump in all the teams.
If I were to be more specific and say, for example, first touch of our players, would you say that is on par with what we've seen from the other teams in this tournament?
On average, yes. But they are the top teams which has excellent first touches, which we still need to get to that level. When you look at like the France first game wasn't that great in terms of their first touches.
No.
But you must remember France is coming from some problems, issues with the federation, and a couple of their players stepped away from the team.
Yes.
But our first touch could do with some improvement, but we are certainly above the average.
Yeah. If you were in the position of Lauren Donaldson, what would be the tactical approach going into this Brazil game? Yes, you only need a point. Are we looking at something similar to the approach that we had against France in the opening game?
I think I would more sit midway in terms of defending, and I would not sit back. Brazil is not the team to sit back on. They would definitely just pick you apart and destroy you. So I would more sit mid-pitch, try and press the ball as much as I can and open them up. I'd use the flanks a lot to spread them wide and get inside. What I'd use is Bunny Shaw as a decoy.
Yeah.
Use her as a decoy, because the last 2019 World Cup when we played, what they did, and I think they'll come back with the same thing, they just had 2-3 players on her, knocked her over.
Yes.
And that crippled us completely. So I'd use her as a decoy and then play through to somebody else. When they shift their defensive line, then I'd have her going into space to finish, because she has that tremendous kick.
Yeah.
But our transition game from attack to defense has to be spot on.
Yes.
Because what I've seen from the Brazilian is that they attack very quickly. So my emphasis would have been on, once you lose the ball, get back in your defensive shape immediately. And once you win the ball, you spring that attack quickly.
Right. And when we look at the ladies' defense, it's something to be really proud of as well.
Definitely.
They've kept 2 clean sheets so far.
Definitely. And we kept the clean sheets, but we still have a few issues within the defensive line to sort out. Because even Blackwood, who was maybe the player of the first match,
Yes.
her second game was not that great.
No, it wasn't.
You could have seen where she was, her first touch especially was off.
Yeah.
And I think maybe she was burnt out from the first game, because her work rate in the first game was tremendous, exceptional. You know, so I was not surprised to have seen the second game, because remember, these games come very quickly. You know, so again, the recovery time and how the technical staff recover the players is extremely important.
Physically, is it too much to ask for us to hold off a team at the level of Brazil, given how much running these girls would have already done in the first 2 matches, just trying to keep pace with France, pushing 4 goals against Panama in the second game?
Technically, yes. It's a lot of work. That is why I would have sat mid-pitch.
Yes.
So as to avoid the running all the way up and down the pitch, because when you go back too deep to get forward is a lot of work. So mid-pitch should have, you know, reduced some of the stress on the legs.
Yeah.
And then now you run the players up front, and then you make the substitutions as you go along.
Yeah, I want to get your opinion quickly on Drew Spence. I saw varying opinions on this player. I thought she had a good game against Panama. I thought she was one of the better players on the field, definitely in terms of her technical ability. And to me, it was clear that I was looking at a top quality player. But I got the impression that especially those who watch her or who have watched her playing for Chelsea in the Women's Super League and playing for Tottenham felt that she was significantly below the level that she is capable of. How do you see it?
I think Drew Spence is a gem. She's a quality. But what a lot of people don't realize, and even if you go back to the men's game, players playing in their club teams tend to give you a better performance. You play 50, 60 games together. That chemistry, that cohesiveness is way better than your national team 90% of the times. So for her, lack of proper preparation, practice games, stuff like that, she's not going to look as sharp and as fluent as when she's in her club team.
Yeah. The overall growth of the Reggae Girlz program, compare it to when you were in charge of this setup.
That sounds like a trick question.
Never.
You can answer to suit you.
It is a big difference. When I had the team, we had no pro players. Apart from maybe, was Omelyn Davis in my program? I think so, and she was still college, and she's the only one who went pro. Now you're looking at 90% of the players being pro players. They're playing in big systems like the Women's Premier League in England, in France, all over the world. So you're looking at far more professional players. Their ethics, their work ethics, their mental attitude, everything is way above when I was there.
Yeah.
But when we were there, we were basically what you'd say the backbone of the development of the program. You know, that is where it started. And people must not forget that.
True.
Right. And how important is it that, you know, we have attracted these star players to play for Jamaica so that, you know, the younger ones looking on would feel as if they want to be a part of this unit?
Jamaica is a global brand. I was in Pan American Games in Brazil, and the way the Brazilians were going on about Jamaicans, it was out of this world. For me, my first experience, I was like just in complete awe.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God. You know, they just cherish Jamaicans. So we're a world brand. So to play for Jamaica is a big thing.
Yeah.
And I can see a lot of these Jamaicans who have migrated, they still love their country, they're very proud of Jamaica. So when they have their kids and their kids are talented players, that's what they want.
Yeah. When you look at this Jamaica setup, yes, there are a few players who have come through the local system, but as you pointed out and as Mariah pointed out, a lot of players from the US system, from England, who didn't come through this local system. Are you in any way disappointed that there are not more players coming through the local setup, one? And how do we utilize this success to assist in ensuring that the development structure is of such that for the next World Cup, just maybe, there will be more players who have learned their football in Jamaica representing the country at the highest level?
The first part of your question, I am disappointed. Being a local coach, I am disappointed. But if I was a national coach, I would have gone with the same team.
Of course.
The quality of the local players are not up to par. And I've said it over and over that each time we go to the World Cup, we don't utilize that momentum to garner the support and to develop the program to the point where we can get the players at another level, right? And I think it's going to happen again. And it's going to be very disappointing. If we make a third World Cup, I think we're going to be going back down the same road, asking the same questions. I think the JFF needs to seriously microscope the Women's Premier League, look at the complete development of it. This is 2 World Cups back to back.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic feat. There's absolutely no other English-speaking region in the islands that can say that they have been to 2 World Cups back to back. So we need to really use this momentum, get out there. Unfortunate for us, we are like a third world where we don't have pro leagues to support the federation. So we have to get out into corporate, put something together. It has to be attractive.
Yes.
Get to the governments. The government is already supporting football, so let's not say they don't support it. They do. And I think their biggest support goes to football. But we need to let them realize now that this is what we want to accomplish. We'd like to see a couple more local-based players in the squad.
And we have to get into the primary schools. We're talking about under 10s.
That's the starter.
And the high school programs
that is
as well.
the starter. That is where we need to. But you see, the development has to be along the line where the coaches are competent enough, not just a teacher in the school who comes out to do a program.
Yes.
Because you need the technical skills to start at 10.
Yeah.
And the tactical start to develop right after.
Yeah.
But we can do it.
We definitely can, Coach. And, you know, sit talking to you, we would go through the entire show talking because you have really good points. And I'm hoping that you can come back the next time we invite you. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're most welcome, and I'll be happy to come back.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. We have a lot more to discuss.